Hello everyone. Welcome in. It's Tuesday, so it's True Live Tuesday. Sorry about the noise, but I thought I'd jump on a little bit early in case some people arrived early. Oh, and my match went out. This is normally something I do prior to getting started. But I often have questions about how do you prepare? How do you prepare, Lori? How do you prepare? So if I'm ever going live or I'm meeting with clients or meeting in a group such as Meditation Monday, or I'm recording hi Sherry. Hi Debbie. Wow. I'm so glad you're here. Not that I'm not happy Sherry's not here. I just haven't seen you for a while, Debbie. So welcome. A lot of people ask me, how do I prepare? That's a question my friend Lynn usually asks. How do you prepare? So whether I'm going live like I am now, Meditation Monday, even if I'm recording Meditation Monday, there's my noon gratitude alarm. Or if I'm recording a podcast. Did I say meeting with a client? I always prepare myself, mind, body, and spirit. I totally get it, Debbie. Life is crazy, but I'm so glad you made it. So I'm just going to light a simple candle. This happens to be an abundance candle. I bought a whole bunch of them, like in a box, and they have different things on them. I'm not the type of woo-woo girly who has to, I have to have the right incense or I have to have the right candle. I'm not that type. It's the setting of intention is what I believe in. So I'm going to place this over here on my altar. And as I was getting ready today, I found this little guy in my office. So for those of you who don't know about me, I have grandchildren and I have a little grandson who is 3. He's going to be 4 around Christmas, and he's really into sharks. And he must have left us the last time he was in my office. But you know what? I can't tell you the zing in my heart when I saw that. It was on my vibroacoustic table. And that means I haven't laid on my vibroacoustic table since they left last week, and I need to get back on it. So I'm so glad everybody's here. It looks like we just have a few people in, and that's okay. Looks like we lost somebody. I think maybe either Debbie or Sherry got pushed out. I hope that's not the case. But let's get started. It is the last Tuesday of the month. And next week we start a brand new theme, and we're going to get to that. So today we're just going to have a community reflection, and we're going to just, kind of sum up the month. So Debbie's still here. Something must have happened to Sherry. Oh, maybe Sherry's back. So I'm so glad whoever is here, whether you are live or you're watching the replay, I'm just honored that you're spending this time with me. For those that are new here, welcome. My name is Lori Lindsay, and I help women in the second half of their life reconnect with themselves so they can trust their intuition. They can regulate their central nervous system, meaning that they can calm down and live from their inner wisdom instead of fear, people-pleasing, and self-doubt. Every week through Meditation Monday, True North Tuesday, and the Inner Compass podcast, and of course my weekly newsletter that goes out Monday morning, we explore the beautiful intersection of science, spirituality, practical tools that help us trust ourselves again. So if you are not on my newsletter list, get on my newsletter list, because there's a lot of things that I share that can help ground you, to help calm you, to help reconnect with your inner wisdom. So again, whether you are joining me live or watching the replay, I'm so pleased that you're here. This week's going to be a little different. Normally I do a lot of teaching during this time, but today I'm hoping that those of us who are here will join in on the conversation, and I will share more. So it's going to be more about an opportunity to share. So if you have something to say, put it in the chat. And let's talk. I mean, if you were sitting in front of me, we would be having this conversation. So I'd love to simply reflect on the journey that we've taken throughout the month of July. And for those of you that are new with us, our theme for this month was the Coherent Heart, and learning about the connection between our heart, our brain, and our central nervous system, and how that relates to intuition. Oh, yay, Sherry, you're still here. Wonderful. So we have been talking this month about slowing down before making decisions. We've been exploring appreciation, which has been very strong. And I've noticed, this is just a side note, I've noticed that through appreciation, it has lowered my heart rate. And I know that because if you don't know anything about me, I visit the doctor. I have several different things going on with my body. And so I get my heart rate, my blood pressure taken, and I had it taken a few times this month. And both times I went into the doctor and they put that little thing on your finger. The nurse in two separate places, two separate nurses in two different appointments in two different clinics said, wow, I noticed that your heart rate is usually 100 or 90 to 100. And both times it was in the 60s. So that little thing they put on your finger, I can't remember what that's called, where they measure your heartbeats, heart regulation. So we've also been discussing emotional resilience and ways our presence affects other people. And I'm sure you already know that, but I talked a lot about the science this month behind it. And we were practicing listening, not to the noise around us, but quieting the noise around us so we can listen to the wisdom we have inside of us. And so today I want to make this a conversation. So again, whether you're joining me live or you're watching the replay, I'd love for you to answer in the comments. Your comments could be something that leads to a discussion in the future, a discussion right now, or part of my curriculum in an upcoming month. For those of you who don't know, I retired from teaching 3 years ago. In fact, it'll be the 4th school year coming up. And I was a curriculum girly. I mean, I was not only a teacher, but I was also a trainer. So I helped write standards for the state of Minnesota, the educational standards. If you want to know anything about educational standards, I'm your girl. And I could probably tell you what the standards are in other states, but I'm kind of a nerd in that area. But as a retired woman, I still was developing curriculum. So I finally found a spot that I can share what I've been learning with all of my, with my sisterhood. So because of some of the most meaningful learning happens when we share with each other. So that's why I want this to be a shared experience today. So the first question is, what was the biggest takeaway you've had this month? And of course, somebody's calling me. I've had the same phone call me, the same phone number call me. This is probably the 5th or 6th time, and they never leave a message. Can we say spam? It's kind of driving me crazy. So again, what was the biggest takeaway you had this month? And it could be something you learned in my podcast, something you learned, or something you experienced in Meditation Monday, the newsletter, whatever. And as you reflect on everything we've explored, was there one idea that really stayed with you? Perhaps it was learning that your body often knows before your mind. Maybe it was discovering the difference between fear and intuition. Maybe appreciation became part of a daily practice. Or perhaps something completely different spoke to you. I'd love to hear what it was. What was your biggest takeaway? And so as I'm waiting for people to respond in the chat, I'm going to tell you my biggest takeaway. So for me, it was the regulating my heart. It was my heartbeat, slowing down my heartbeat. And I shared a little bit about that in the beginning. That was one of my biggest takeaways from the month. But preparing for this month, I learned about Heart Math Institute, and that's math as in adding and subtracting, Heart Math Institute. And the director is Dr. Roland McCready. And what I learned from them is such practical things about focusing on your heart space. And let me backtrack. These are not woo-woo people. These aren't this isn't a think group. This is a real a scientific institution that's studying your heart when it comes to things like heart rate variability when you add gratitude into the mix and how that affects your heart rate, slows it, which leads to regulating your central nervous system. They've also discovered that there is an electromagnetic field that reaches at least 3 feet. They can measure at least 3 feet beyond the heart that's out there. They can measure it. It's like, it's real. They have instruments that are doing that. 10 years ago, I don't think people were talking about this. And now, every time I turn on social media, I'm hearing about heart coherence. So to me, that was the biggest takeaway of the month. So I'm going to go over to the chat. And Debbie shared, I'm going to pop her up. Protecting my peace is vital to my well-being. Amen, sister girlfriend. Amen. Protecting your peace, setting boundaries is all so helpful to hearing your inner voice, to hearing your intuition, to, I'm at the point in my life where if you're going to cross me and make me feel outside of where I feel safe and serenity, it's not worth it for me. It's not worth it for me. I'm going to choose to be around people that are going to help me protect my peace and serenity. Thank you so much, Sherry, Debbie. Thank you for sharing. And she also said, I practice gratitude daily. So my question back to you, Debbie, is how do you practice it? Like, could you just give me a sentence or two about what specifically that you do? I'm going to share that I'm part of a text message, a text group, and every day we share what we appreciate or what we are grateful for. So just share one or two things that you do as a daily practice. And it could be just that I list out what I'm grateful for. It could be as simple as that. So Sherry came on and said, I'm practicing gratitude daily. Here we go again. Sherry happens to be part of the text messaging group. So she said, I'm practicing daily, even if it's hard to do. I'm also working on calming my emotions. And the key word is working on. And I'm so glad you said that, because your life is never going to be perfect. We live in a crazy world. We live on Earth, which is like the most intense training for any life. And we're living through one of the craziest times in our nation's history. Yeah, there were other crazy times, like the Civil War and other times, but we didn't live through them, right? You and I, most of those people have passed. They're our grandparents. So, your life is not going to be perfect. But if you develop tools such as appreciation and feeling grateful for something, that can really change your perspective, lower your heart rate, help you to hear your inner voice. So now we have Belted Kingfisher 1111, who I know exactly who that is. And she says, sitting in stillness is not laziness. Okay, if I could drop my mic, I would drop it. I love that, because what it's saying to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that when you're intentional about something, it's beneficial. And also, rest is so important. Rest and restore. And our society sees rest as, you could be doing the dishes. You should be running that errand. You should be finishing that project at work. And it's not that. If you listen to your body and your body says, I need rest, it's going to help you be productive a little bit farther into the day. So yes, stillness and rest is not laziness. And I wish as a society, we could flip that around. I wish we could flip our thinking on that. Sherry said, now my things are starting to jump all over the place. So Sherry said that she loves that. And I do too. She's responding to Belted Kingfisher. I love that name. And sometime you're going to have to share with me where that name came from. You don't have to do it now, but I know exactly who that person is. But, I don't know if they want me to say their name, because their name isn't in their username. Okay, we've also heard again from Debbie. I'm grateful for hot and cold water, clean water to drink, good food, sleep, my home, my puppy. How old is your puppy now? It must be just like 6 months, because I remember when you said a new puppy came home with you. You're also grateful for your husband, your woo-woo friends. I love you as my woo-woo friend, and regular friends. Let's separate them out, because even woo-woo people have regular friends. I love that. Meditation, your diamond art. Oh, we've got 2 diamond art people here. Sherry and Debbie are my diamond art girls, and my tree. So someday at Meditation Monday, I'd love for you to show me a picture of your tree. Oh, Debbie just said that her puppy is about 5.5 months. So I was correct. I thought I said 6 months. So Belted Kingfisher is my friend Monica. We went to high school together. And we met in band, and she played the trombone and I played the flute and piccolo. So I sat in the front row and she got to sit with all the fun kids in the back row. So Sherry says that she is grateful for her fur babies, and she's got 2 adorable dogs. She's grateful for her husband, a beautiful home, and yay, diamond art. Debbie says she's doing diamond art right now. I'm so glad that you jumped on, and you're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting a little social time with the sisterhood and some diamond art in. So let's move on to question number 2. Did you notice any changes in yourself this month? Any changes in yourself this month? Because most people are talking about gratitude, but any changes? For me, the biggest change I saw was my heart rate dropped at 2 appointments. It wasn't just 1, it was 2 appointments this month. And that to me is huge, because I'm a girl whose mind goes a mile a minute. And I'm also running here and running there and getting stuff done. And when I get to a doctor's appointment, I'm usually like by the skin of my teeth, right? I'd love to be that type of person who shows up 10 minutes early and just relaxes in the waiting room. But to me, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. I got things to do. I'm not going to sit in a waiting room for 10 minutes. So what was a big change that experienced for you this month? Debbie, love it. Debbie says, I'm setting more firm boundaries. That's perfect. I'm trying to do that too. As somebody said already in the group, trying or working on it. It's an ongoing process, isn't it? And setting firm boundaries is easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done. So keep working on that. Monica said, oh my God, big mouth of uncovering and appreciate my uniqueness. Or big mouth. What's wrong with me? A big month for uncovering and appreciating my uniqueness. That's beautiful. I'm feeling that in my heart for you, Monica. That is just so awesome. And, Monica just she's not just working with me. She also works with my friend Piper. So that is so exciting for you. Hopefully we're going to be able to connect in the near future, and it's just going to be you and me chatting. So let's see, Sherry. I'm learning not to carry anger as long as I used to, and speaking up with my voice. I was the queen, and seriously, I was the queen in my adulthood, that I had the guts to say stuff, and I said stuff. And then about 5 minutes later, I felt it right here. I felt it right here in my throat chakra. Like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't have confidence in what I said after I said it. Now, there's a lot of reasons that happened for me. A lot of it had to do with my upbringing. A lot of it had to do with that I'm a very sensitive soul and that I'm sensitive towards others. But when I would stand up for myself or I would say things, I would immediately feel it here. And as I have worked through those shadows, I now can say things. I say them in a less harsh way, and I don't feel it here in my throat chakra. And I don't carry it with me for days. I don't wake up in the middle of the night thinking, I shouldn't have said that. I should have said it this way. Now I say it, I release it, and I move on. But it doesn't happen overnight. It does not happen overnight. Sherry, Monica said that she loves that, and I do too. I would agree 100%. So Sometimes growth is dramatic, but more oftenly it's wonderfully subtle. And if you know the adage of if you learn something quickly, you're going to lose it quickly. If you learn it slow, it has a better chance of sticking. It's just like weight loss. You can lose it fast. Guess what happens? It comes right back. Right back. Did you notice yourself pausing before reacting this month? I've had a hard time with that one. And I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde. And a lot of grumbles and a lot of grumpiness. But that's something I had to remind myself constantly this month, is pausing before reacting. But you know what? A lot of things are happening in my life, just like a lot of things are happening in your life. I think it was Debbie who said that her life has been crazy this month. But notice how she's responded to all of these things. She's setting boundaries. She's doing those things that protect herself. So you can have a crazy life and still protect your boundaries. So trusting yourself a little bit more, listening to your body, setting healthy boundaries, all of those things are tools in our toolbox that we need to survive America 2021. Or it isn't even 2021, it's 2026. We need it in 2021 too. Or maybe we simply became more of what is happening around us. And I hope you didn't become more of what's around you if the stuff around you is not healthy, but you were able to influence what was around you. Awareness itself is growth. If you hang out with me long enough, especially if you hung out with me in the years I was an educator, I talk about metacognition. I was the queen of metacognition. Metacognition is thinking about your thinking. And sometimes I was obsessive about it, like at that 3 a.m. questioning things. Debbie just said we need it every year. I think we've needed it every year since 2015 because of something that happened in 2016. Would you agree? So the last question I'm going to ask is, were there any questions that are left unanswered from this month? So having to do with heart math, the polyvagal theory, appreciation and how it affects your heart. One of the things I love learning is that every answer usually leads to another question. Does that sound like a teacher or what? Because that's who I am. Maybe you're wondering more about intuition. And I think science is starting to catch up with intuition. There's somebody in the next office that has a buzzer going off. I don't know if you can hear it, but every once in a while it goes, boo, boo. It's distracting for me, but I'm going to push through. Maybe you're more curious about consciousness. I did a podcast last month about consciousness and what science is saying about consciousness. If you're interested in that, check out my YouTube channel. All of my podcasts are there. Maybe you would like to understand the central nervous system more deeply. Or perhaps you're discovering questions that you never knew to ask. So that is a perfect example about you don't know what you don't know. And I would say 45 days ago, I didn't know about Heart Math Institute. I didn't know about their research about the electrical field that goes 3 feet out beyond your heart, outside of your body. I didn't know they were studying that. Of course, as a woo-woo person, I've always believed in an aura because as an empath, I pick up on energies and I absorb all types of energy through my aura. So I knew that I had an aura, but to have scientists say there's an electromagnetic field around my body and they're measuring it, that's pretty cool. There was another buzz. Debbie said questions are good. Questions are good. And they are. Because questions are the base of curiosity. And we're placed here on earth to learn. To learn. A day without learning, to me, is a day not worth living. But I also say a day without laughter is also a day without living either. So, you know what? There's no wrong answers here. This was a month about discovery and about continuing to be curious. So the next question, which we're probably going to run out of time, but anything that surprised you this month in the newsletter, in Meditation Monday, True North Tuesday, or the podcast, anything surprise you? Sometimes the greatest surprises isn't what we've learned, it's how we experienced it. Perhaps you expected meditation to feel differently. Perhaps you discovered that slowing down isn't easy or as difficult as you thought it could be. Maybe you were surprised by how quickly your body responded to a simply pause and breathe. Or perhaps you realized you've known these truths all along, you just had to have permission to trust them. So anything surprise you? For me, the biggest surprise was I started doing Meditation Monday a little bit differently and asking the same 3 questions all month long before we meditated and then after we meditated. And that came from the Heart Math Institute. It's part of their protocol. And those 3 questions are their protocol that we've been using in Meditation Monday. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, all of those meditations are on my YouTube channel. But the questions were, what emotion am I feeling right now? What sensations am I feeling in my body? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how connected do I feel to my body? 1 being low, 10 being high. And then asking them before we meditate and then after we meditate. And I was surprised at the raise in the number and the change in body sensations. Now, I've run Meditation Monday always having questions and reflections at the end. So I kind of like that we did it both before and after. So I'm going to talk about the August theme, and it's called Living in Resonance. If July helped you to understand the heart, August will invite you to explore something equally fascinating, and it's all about sound, vibration, rhythm, and frequency, and how it influences the way we feel. And we're going to explore the science. We're going to explore what science is discovering about sound and the nervous system. We're going to talk about resonance, not only in music, but within ourselves. And we're going to begin exploring vibroacoustic therapy and why I'm so excited about offering it right here in the Inner Compass Sound Lounge, or the Inner Compass office. Just a fancy name. And I'm looking forward to learning right along with you. So I develop a curriculum every month, and I've spent the whole month of July getting ready for August, and I'm ready to launch on Monday, but I'll continue to learn stuff about this, having to do with frequency. So let's see. Debbie said, I'm interested in checking out the Heart Math Institute. You go, girl. I want to hear what you learned from them. I think you will be excited. The director, if you can't find Heart Math Institute, the director is Dr. Roland McCready. And then Monica says, whoop, whoop, whoop. She is our resident expert when it comes to vibroacoustic therapy. She has been doing it in Edmonds. So if you live in the Seattle area, I can connect you to someone who does vibroacoustic therapy in Edmonds, Washington. You can certainly do it here in Minnesota in White Bear Lake, or any of the, I'm right here in the Twin Cities, but it's pretty amazing. What did she say? I'd love to see a video tour of your space sometime. You know what? I'm going to make one of those videos later this week. I'm finishing up just a couple more things, and then I'm going to do it behind the scenes. So stay tuned. So if resonance is something I'd love to, if resonance is something you are interested in, I'd love to invite you to visit my website to sign up for my newsletter, because the newsletter is where it kicks off each week. And I explain, I do a compass teaching. I invite you to Meditation Monday. I invite you to True North Tuesday, and I share with you what the podcast is going to be. What about Georgia? You know what? I will reach out to my friend Piper and see who in the Georgia area offers vibroacoustic therapy, because I'm sure there is, because there's another location right here in the Twin Cities on the south end. So I'm sure, but let me reach out to him, and I will reach out to you once I find out. let's see, where am I? As we wrap up today, I would like to leave you with 3 questions to carry this week. What have I learned about myself this month? What am I ready to leave behind? And what am I excited about to explore next? So thank you for sharing this journey with me. And whether you're here every week or this is your first time joining us, I'm so grateful you are part of this community. And I highly invite you to join our sisterhood. And it's so easy. You just go to my website at www.lorilindsay.com and join my newsletter. And kind of look around because my blog is on there. So former newsletter articles are on there. Most of my Meditation Mondays are on there. Lots of stuff. As always, keep listening, keep trusting, and remember, your inner compass has been with you all along. So I'm going to see you next week, right? I'm going to see all of you. You're all going to come. And we got a brand new Jersey journey starting on Monday. So remember, awaken, remember, rise. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next week at Meditation Monday.